Episode 2. Enter the Great Swordsman, Pirate Hunter, Roronoa Zoro. Luffy and Kobe make their way to the Navy base to locate the rumored and infamous pirate bounty hunter, Roronoa Zoro. After arriving in this strange town where even the name of Zoro makes the townspeople quake, Luffy and Kobe approach the gated naval base. Surprisingly, in the middle of the courtyard, they find Zoro, bound and swordless. A little girl soon approaches, bearing gifts of onigiri for the starving swordsman. However, she soon becomes as bright as a Team Rocket star when Helmeppo and the Marines throw her out for breaking the law by helping a criminal. Luffy saves her, and at her family restaurant, she explains how Zoro's heroics, which saved her life, put his own in peril. Angered, Luffy takes on Helmeppo himself and decides Zoro will join his crew no matter what it takes. Alright, the introduction of Zoro did not disappoint.
Oi, omaera! Mezawari da. Usero.
Yet curiously, despite the fear the rumors of Zoro elicit, the same rumors which Kobe has been repeating since episode 1, the same rumors which result in the unseemly running and hiding that we see from the townspeople, Zoro's first encounter characterizes him in quite the opposite manner. Instead of a big scary pirate hunter, wielding not one, not two, but 3 menacing swords, we get a guy tied to a post, as cool as it looks, whose first exchange is with a child, a little girl named Rika, who's so sweet she's replaced the salt and onigiri with sugar. This topsy-turvy, unexpected clash of opposites runs thematically throughout the episode, as I'll unpack in the following minutes. Even as Zoro claims he'll beat her up, we can already tell the legendary ghost of Roronoa Zoro might not be all it's rumored to be. Already we can see that behind his tough exterior is someone who cares about others, who just might not be all that scary. Maybe. Like I said before, this unexpected juxtaposition of our expectations and reality continues throughout the episode, and is baked right into even the cinematic and artistic design of episode 2. You say, what does all of that possibly mean? Well, let me explain. So let's take a few steps back. While pirates, like spies or mafiosos, have enjoyed a lot of romanticizing and glossing over on their morality, in preference for the exciting and scintillating action and adventure their stories can provide, pirates weren't historically good guys, whatever that means. But on the most basic level, pirates are thieves. Certainly, questions of freedom and such come into it, which can add some nuance, even historically. But a thief is a thief, and pillaging villages was often their expertise. I mean, I'm sure Nami is about to come with some tragic backstory. Doesn't mean that if I'm on that passenger ship from episode 1, and she stole my gold bars, that I'm not going to call the police on her. Or I guess the Marines or whatever. So Oda does something right from the start that really starts to set the tone and muddy the morality enough that we can really get past titles, such as those of pirate and marine. Marines are the law and pirates are not. That's the simplest conclusion we can make. However, this episode paints us a different picture, showing that titles mean nothing. In the same way that Zoro tells Luffy about spirit, mainly that he has more than him, this episode helps show that the spirit or the heart of the person is more important than any title. In much the same way that the law and what it should mean is questioned here, when Helmeppo acts against the spirit of the law in order to satisfy his own ego and whims, people's official titles may not carry much weight if they act counter to what that thing should mean. We had the titles of pirate and marine in this episode, but also the title of Roronoa Zoro. Each of these has a meaning and connotation when people hear them. Pirates are thieves, and the Marines are supposed to be the bringers and executors of the law. But in this episode, we see that the Marines are the ones stealing from and hurting others. As Helmeppo says that helping a criminal means launching a child into the atmosphere, instantly Oda is showing us that a Marine in One Piece isn't inherently good, and a pirate isn't inherently bad. As the pirate Luffy comes to the little girl's rescue, we can understand that this world is not impregnable to corruption, and that a pirate can get so angry at it that he beats a man in a yellow helmet and his father up for their audacity. Yes, I know that's his hair, but that is not acceptable. While Captain Morgan talks about the importance of titles and the need to respect them, he does not respect the title given to him, and as Kobe, the established voice of reason, tells us, Marines should not act this way. So, at the same time, the author is not saying, yeah, pirates are good and Marines are evil in my world. That's not the case either, as the evidence from earlier shows. Instead, we see this as meant as a point of blatant corruption and perversion of whatever the Marines are supposed to represent. For one, we see how one of the now henchmen Marines apologizes to the little girl before tossing her like a javelin into the heavens. And this corruption also upsets the cowardly Kobe so much that he risks his own life to free Zoro and help Luffy against this travesty to his dream of being a Marine, therefore illustrating that this is not how the Marines should behave. So, now here's the cool part. Let's say, in the social order or hierarchy of things, a Marine would be above a pirate, right? The title of Marine would place one as an upright person, a person of moral standing, and as such higher in society. We can say this should be the case with Captain Morgan, right? Much more, he's a captain, so his rank is also high within that order. Morgan should stand above the rest. But does he? His statue doesn't. As the Marines who are clearly not doing their job, a theme of the episode is wonderfully illustrated here as they raise a statue instead of help people like the little girl, who they instead depress, which is to say push down, Luffy approaches the tower. Luffy is right at the bottom of the tower, while all this happens on top of the building. So once again, a pirate is a lowly person in a society. They are thieves in the broadest sense, and so Luffy is placed right where he should be from this perspective, a pirate's moral standing placing them plumb at the bottom. Lucky for Luffy, he doesn't care about any of this, and as the episode moves to right what has been a topsy-turvy world this entire time, where Marines want to kill people and pirates want to save them, our rubber pirate launches himself right to the top. Luffy then goes on to fight Morgan, but right before that, there is a choice Oda makes which perfectly completes the thematic underpinning of the episode. Luffy destroys the statue that they were trying to raise. This does a few things. First, it suggests Morgan is not an upstanding man. He is not a man who should be over others, such as a leader. Luffy, instead, springs to the top on his own strength and special traits, being like rubber and stuff, in order to save Zoro, and in doing so the town as well, proving he is worthy to be a leader. To be a captain, right? To be a captain, unlike Morgan. And so it's no surprise that this development, by, well, episode 3, makes Zoro accept him as his captain. The second thing is, Luffy not only destroys the statue, but specifically the top of it. Morgan loses his top. He loses his top position while the bottom remains, showing him for what he truly is. Morally bankrupt and low, not suited to be the head of the Marines, much less any other group. While Luffy, his foil, is the moral superior here, and so worthy to be one. This is then underscored by physical power as well. Morgan says that his position is based on his strong arm, and Luffy takes him on, stripping him of that illusion of self as well as he blasts him across the rooftop. As such, this episode juxtaposes a morally bankrupt leader and a just one, legitimizing one and delegitimizing the other. Not only through action, but within the symbolic set dressing too. Also, an interesting note, in the same way that Morgan calls the other Marines traitors, he is the traitor as he not only mistreats the Marines, but has imprisoned a pirate hunter. If the Marines' job, for example, is to take down pirates, as episode 1 suggests with Luffy jumping ship to avoid the Marines because he is a pirate, then Morgan imprisoning a pirate hunter just makes no sense. And it's just another level of showing the self-serving nature of his leadership. Likewise, the title of Roronoa Zoro is also misleading. After all, these events show that the evil bounty hunter is clearly a hero. A hero who's willing to sacrifice himself for a girl and her mother. We can see that Luffy is no longer just impressed by Zoro's supposed strength, which he hasn't seen by the way at this point, but his show of compassion, though he tries not to make it obvious, I think. Overall, I really liked how the episode was designed. Certainly, it's obvious the Marines are acting poorly and the pirates nicely, but there are also some interesting points made within the episode's organization and what it sets up for us going forward. Because of this episode, from now on, we are warned to be wise about the titles of and rumors we hear of any new characters. As they may, like Zoro, turn out to be kind-hearted even if they look like an avenging samurai, or be evil even if the law is technically on their side, based on their title. So I really like that. It makes things conceptually interesting even this early on. Titles, unlike what Morgan says, might be meaningless. We have to see what people are like to really know if they deserve the title. It's about to get random, but just hold with me for a second. Like Confucius's concept of the rectification of names suggests, you have to see if the prince acts like a prince or not. That tells you if he is truly deserving of the title. If not, he does not deserve to be a prince if he cannot act like a prince, and in fact deserves to be toppled. Like Morgan's statue, as it were. That's what matters. So anyways, that's the more interpretation side of things. Now here's my favorite part of the episode. It just made me laugh out loud. Luffy is just too funny. I was really hoping he'd drag him back the other way too. Alas, it was not to be. And new category for today. Details to keep in mind. Zoro obviously has 3 swords. They're part of Zoro's Santoryu style. However, he also has 3 earrings of different sizes. So I think... So I think maybe this suggests a motive of 3. That the number 3 might be relevant to Zoro's background and goals. I have no idea what it could be about, if anything, but I know full well it's definitely a detail to keep in mind. And my wild and random theory for this episode? So all I really know is that Robin exists, since I never got to whenever she joins the crew. Now the girl in Zoro's flashback sorta looks like her, so I'm guessing that's Robin. That's really my theory. Not really exciting, is it? This might be horribly wrong since Robin has black hair and the girl has blue hair, although there was sort of a bluish filter over the scene, I think, maybe. However, I'll write that off as more of an artistic thing. For example, it's like how Sasuke in Naruto has black hair, but it's definitely sometimes blue. And this is actually a real thing, of course. It's a lighting thing, and black is usually just a deep shade of some other color. For example, when I paint, I think of blacks as blue blacks or red blacks or something else, which watch me fool around in an art video for reference. I have loads of those. No, I don't yet, but there will be loads of those. I really love this part of Naruto. Anyway, that's my theory. It's not a great one. This is about One Piece. Anyways, One Piece. Anyways, that's my theory. It's not a great one since I shouldn't really know who Robin is, but I do know of the character. I honestly actually don't know much about her at all, except that she exists, again, as I said previously. But of course I've seen things about her. I'm excited to see what she brings to the team, because when I was watching, I think Chopper had joined and it seemed like they were pretty cool. I actually don't remember what Usopp does at all. I don't remember anything. Of course, One Piece girls all sort of look more alike than not alike, so I'm not the most confident about this theory, but I'll put it out there. I have no shame. What is shame? It is this feeling right here. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Seriously, thank you, and this has been every episode of One Piece, episode 2. Oh, will you all be out for a Death Note video? I have lots of really cool ideas, I think. Anyway, let me know in the comments. To be continued.
おいお前ら